Yeah, so it's mutated bees that are trying to save the planet Earth from mind-controlled humans. That's pretty much what else can I say, really, other than that.
So now, if you haven't seen any of Luke's videos on Substack, not only does Luke write short stories about this and get amazing figures, I guess that was 3D printed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is just like a prototype. It's just a 3D print. Now, I don't know where this is going to be going, but like, it just had to do it,
Oh,
So
no kidding. It's fantastic. Well, the other thing Luke does that's amazing is he creates these pseudo commercials and for the IP as if it was a real thing in the 1980s. They look like they could have been produced by Kenner back in days when they were making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have that same vibe, and you got to tell everybody how you do that and what inspired you to create them that way. It's just so cool.
okay, so well, how long we've got? So obviously, like the plan is, I'm kind of a new author, really. I've got some ideas for some novels. I'm working on one at the minute, which is it's a political thriller, something completely different to what this is, and I just think that obviously I want to throw some writing out there. And my original idea was to think of like, I know, I could tell a bit of like a political thriller through toys. And I could have like these toys in a room, and there could be this like tension between like the favourite toy or not. And then I sat and thought about it, and I was like, right, okay, so that kind of exists already. Like Toy Story is pretty much kind of has that kind of conflict when you actually think about it, especially with the Army Men as well. So I was like, oh yeah, to be honest, I'm not really telling anything new here. But one of my ideas for the toys that I would have in this room was these Mutant Battle Bees. And then like they were kind of like the little play sets that you can imagine, like Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that you'd have in the 90s. And just the whole concept of that just went, no, there's something in that instead. So that's where it's like the short story series was like pulled to, and that's what really drew me. And I was like, no, I can come up with a bunch of characters around this and tell this like story. And then the idea was tell like the background story of these toys as if it existed, and then kind of just do this 90s, 80s kind of Saturday morning television kids show. So I'm kind of writing the novelization of the show as if it existed with commercials selling the toys.
Quite honestly, when I first ran across your stuff on Substack, I played one of the videos because the caption was perfect. It was very intriguing. I played one of your videos and I thought, how did I miss this? And then, like, when did this happen? I something that should have been out of my childhood, and I thought, what am I? I've stepped into an alternate universe where the Mutant Battle Bees existed, and I missed it. Then I ran across the one with the cereal and the ads with, and I thought, this guy is doing the most incredible things, because you've basically taken all of the stuff that as a kid we died for this stuff. We wanted, He-Man and Turtles, and in my day a little earlier than that, it was Mego toys and Lego and all the rest of it. But it was all advertised like this, and the smart toy makers were tying it together with cereal and with other things going on, and other products. They had Underoos and they had all kinds of, and you've done exactly that, and it's fantastic. The videos look real, my man. They look real. How did where did this?
It's AI, man. It's so yeah. I just want to make a very important like distinction. Like obviously, I use AI as like a bit of a creative tool, but the actual short story is fully written by me. It's not AI generated, the actual words. So I just want to make that clear. But yeah, just to create the kind of feel. Obviously, I'm trying to stand out a little bit on Substack because it's so kind of a fresh face to it. So I just thought I'd approach it like this way, and that's the whole point. I'm treating it as if it's real. Like there was a post someone put up about some old drink they're after, some old Dr. Pepper, and I posted a kind of Pepsi that had a character General Stripe in there. Said it was a honey flavored Pepsi. I went, oh man, this came out in 1994. It was a great flavor, but don't do it anymore. So I've just thrown stuff like this in, so people are like, what's this? So I'm trying to advertise it like that.
Is gorgeous. That's actually the thing. Like you do treat it like it was a real thing. Like it's not a gag. It's actually the commercials they do. They look like something Kenner produced in the 90s to advertise the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to kids on Saturday morning. It looks exactly like that. And you make an important distinction about the AI thing. I do the same thing. when I started, AI was, I didn't realize, this is only this summer, so we're not talking that long ago.
Yeah.
I ran across, I was trying to put my books together, and I had this idea for the universe and all the rest of it. But I needed covers for the books. I thought, man, how am I going to do this? I can't afford somebody pro to do this, and I can't do it myself. My drawing skills are not up to the task. And then I discovered AI, and I was absolutely floored by what I could do. And I started covering my books with AI. I didn't really think about it. I just, oh, this is great. I got a tool I can use. It turns out there's this thing that happens, not with everybody, but with some people, where they see an AI generated anything, book cover, video, whatever, and they just assume that whoever made that is also generating the text, and they're also generating every single part of it, which is simply not the case. We're creators who are limited by reality. I mean,
yeah, of course.
You couldn't, I doubt, unless you're independently wealthy and you're not showing it, you couldn't go out and make the commercials that you've made for your Mutant Battle Bees.
No.
For anything less than millions of dollars. It would be
no, exactly.
Anyone.
And it won't give the same effect of what I'm trying to do either way. So like I am trying to use it as an actual creative tool. I mean, I think that's the important thing. Like you know, it is scary stuff. I get that. AI. I mean, God knows where the future's taking us really with it. But I think as creators, it's a tool, and I suppose there's no harm in using it if you know we use it wisely.
For me, I agree 100%. I think as long as you're upfront about the fact that, hey, this is AI, the average person who is not creative, who doesn't have a vision, is not going to go on an AI website and in 3 days come back with what you've created. It's just not going to happen. You've taken a vision, a plan, an idea, and something that's got you're a whole multimedia empire, and you've pumped it in there. But I know from personal experience, you didn't just say, "Oh, ChatGPT, create me a commercial that looks like a 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bees," and get what you got. You worked at it. It would have taken you. I'm certain it takes days to create even one of these commercials.
Yeah, so like some of the individual shots are kind of AI generated, but then like I would then edit it all together to try and make it fit as one big long thing. And like 1 minute a video does take me quite a few hours to do it. And then even put like the little like disclaimer text and stuff, I put all that on and embed like the logo. So like I am doing some editing there. Like it's not just typing in like a prompt and getting the whole thing back. Like I am trying to do it. I'm just not paying for the actual footage. So if that makes sense.
This to me is where AI is going to shine in the future, is that people are going to take the tool and they're going to actually do interesting and otherwise impossible things with it that are fun to watch, that are entertaining to enjoy, good to listen, whatever the case may be, fun, watch, listen, read, whatever. It's not going to just be everybody on the planet going to ChatGPT and saying, write me a book and getting something back that's worth reading. They're not. It simply doesn't work that way. And I think there's this disconnect with, particularly, I ran into this on Reddit. It was incredibly hostile when, at first, when I started talking about my books, people were excited and they were interested. One guy said, "Is that cover AI?" And it all went to hell. And it suddenly, the vibe went from, "Hey, really cool stuff. Can you show us more?" to, "What the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you? You're the most evil person on the planet." And instant, hostility. I get that. I understand where it comes from. And like you said earlier, there is some not good stuff about using AI. But on the flip side, it's not the evil empire that people are often making it out to be. It's a creative tool. And if you're and making a point of saying, yes, this was AI, I didn't just, I didn't go out and film a bunch of kids playing with toys. This is actually AI generated. I see that as a progression no different than the electric typewriter, the fountain pen, Photoshop, autocorrect, all of these things that came along and everybody hated at the time when they first were announced or first were developed. And now they're just part of our lives. They're just the way things are.
Yeah, I mean, in maybe in some ways, it might have to step up everyone's game a little bit. We have to think a little bit more creative, creativity, and also I think it does cut a little gatekeeping down as well. Like people with a lot of money could just put something together like that, and where someone has the idea, they can more or less put something together and to sort of demonstrate the kind of the concept of it a little bit more. So it does have its benefits.
I
Um,
I could not agree more. This shirt, I love this shirt. I love
Great,
this picture. This is the first thing I generated on AI.
it's brilliant.
Honestly, I literally pumped in, and not the whole thing, just the guy. Give me a superhero in a World War II flying helmet in a yellow cape. That's literally all I said, and this is what came out, and that inspired me to take Spy Smasher into more than just sort of a little idea in my head to bring him back. And I wrote the story and used
Yeah,
this cover for the story. I changed in a lot of ways, like on the actual one that I used for printing. I changed the logo a little bit. I've actually since then I've taken it and done a little bit more with it, but it's not it started somewhere, and like you say, it takes that gatekeeping away, because I could not possibly have started my project in
no,
the summer and have 7 books published since then, plus more actually, but 7 books in the series published in 7 months, because I wouldn't have 7 covers. I can write that many, but I could not cover that many. I don't.
no.
No way. I
But
couldn't.
but I can imagine, like, once you saw that image, you like gets you pumped. You're like, my visions come to life, and in fact,
It's
it's
exciting.
yeah,
It's exciting to see. And I mean, since then, I've actually discovered a couple of more tools that will turn it into animation, like what you're doing. I'm trying to put this into my 15, 20-year-old self as a comic book fan. Okay, you can take your favorite character, you can put a still image into this machine, and it'll give you animation. Are you kidding me?
I
That's
know.
that's insane. That's the most amazing thing on the planet. I can't, and the first time I did it, even now as a 56-year-old man, the first time I did it last month, and it gave me an animated version of one of my characters, I just about fainted.
Yeah,
I was absolutely floored. I'm like, oh my God, this is something that came out of my brain, and it's a cartoon. Okay, it's only 6 seconds long, but it's a cartoon. I mean, when does this ever happen?
I don't. I mean, this thing didn't even exist like 4 years ago. Like this was even crazier.
It's amazing.
Um,
Truly.
so
And what you're doing with it, as I've said 3 times already,
so I mean,
it's phenomenal. Thank you very much, and I love it. I absolutely adore it. Everybody on Substack, go to Luke's Substack, read the Mutant Battle Bees. It's phenomenal, and the commercials are just so much fun. Oh my God!
no, thank you, thank you. I mean, I just want to say one little thing. Is I think what I've kind of come to respect is the people that created these like kids TV shows. I think what's important is that they had the toys. A lot of them had the toys first. Where they had like these figures of going. So who is he then? So he's the muscle good guy. And he's the Skeletor evil good. Okay, right. Okay, got that. And they had to come up with a whole concept to tell
Absolutely.
that story. And I think there's a bit of like how to tell the story like that. So that's kind of how I wanted to do it. I kind of designed all of the figures. And then like, so these are going to be my heroes. This figure does this. He has a connectable arm, and so kind of themed around that. And then trying to throw that in the mix and go, right, how can I then tell that story? So I've tried to follow that formula a little bit as well. So if anyone's reading it, that's kind of where it goes. So it's all madness. They've all got crazy names. There's a bit of like biker mice from Mars there, meets gargoyles and all those kind of things. So that's why I
And
ended it.
fantastic. I got to say, like I say, I cannot express how happy I am every time I see a new
No,
video.
thank you.
It just makes me smile every time, because it's totally pulling up our childhood in a whole new way, and you've done it with so much respect for the actual the history of it, because it really does. It looks real, man. Oh my God.
Well, it's I think it's a bit of nostalgia for myself, just feel like a bit of a kid again. But this is the thing, right? So when I've seen some of your posts, this is what I'm loving, because it's like the whole like the superhero thing. Like who doesn't love superheroes? I mean, it's
I
just the basic storytelling formula that we just get, and I just love it. Like comics, the lot. I just think it's brilliant what you're doing.
the
Um,
good and evil part of it is I think there's a lot of modern storytelling has a lot of nuance, and there's a lot of depth, and there's a lot of, really character development and all that wonderful stuff, which is great if you're reading a 400-page novel. I'm all over it. But I love good and evil. I love punching bad guys. I love superpowers and goofy stories and fun stuff. And all of that is what I do. And I don't, my characters are interesting to me, and I try to give you, some deep backstory about them over time. But you can read a 100-page book of mine, and it's basically a prose comic book. It's some fun stuff happening, good guys beating the bad guys, but there's an overarching story beyond that. So I'm trying to sort of work on a bunch of different levels, and this is the public domain thing. It turns out to be a fantastic framework for that, because every time I go looking for a character to fit a role, there is one. I can find one.
Yeah.
The story that I just finished last night is reintroducing a character by the name of Copperhead from an old 1940s serial. I used the villain from that serial in my very first book, and the hero isn't even named in the name of the serial. He's actually called Copperhead, and he's not even named in the title of the serial. He kind of disappeared after the serial, and nobody really used him. So I've rebuilt him. And I needed a way to explain, because I've given him some superpowers, and I needed a way to explain that. And I'm like, how do I do that? And I was reaching for, and I found another character in the public domain, and it was like, yep, that'll just work perfectly. We'll just add that right in there, and that's lovely. And it's like clockwork. And the universe is slowly but surely building out with the intention of, by the time 2034 rolls around, when Superman becomes public domain, I'm going to have over 100 novels written that will have laid the groundwork and given him a runway to arrive into, with his backstory already here and there seeded throughout what I'm doing. Yeah. I talk to, there are instances, if you read enough of my books, you'll see there are little moments where they talk about a character and you go, well, wait a minute, does he mean? Yes, he does. I do. That's who I mean. Whoever you think I mean, that's exactly. Somebody asked me on Substack the other day, they said, the Gauntlet of Naboo, is that Naboo as in Dr. Fate? And I gave him a cheeky response. But if you read something of mine and you think, I wonder if he's talking about so-and-so as in so-and-so. Yes, I am. That's who I'm talking about.
Love it.
And that's the point. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And it's fun. It's so much fun.
It's cool. It's cool, man. But, I think what intrigues me about what you're doing is that you're not just grabbing old heroes and going, okay, my turn to tell the story. I just love the thought and the love you're giving it, where you're not just writing a series of books. You're building a world, man. You're building a universe, which is it's what I dig, man. It's what I love. I mean, I think most people in our kind of like genre that we kind of like these heroes like telling stories. I think it's not just the geekiness that love the action hero. I think it's the overall character of the world that they're in, and the limitations they have, the conflict they're in, and the connection to how we see it in ourselves. And mate, I think it's great what you're doing, and I love. And can I just say I love, because I think I saw a podcast of you on something else, and you were explaining how Earth is the only place that has magic, and I was like, he's got it, man. I'm digging that. Thus, why alien interference and stuff, and what is it about Earth? Why is Earth so special? Because when you do actually think about some of the other like Avenger films, and I enjoy them for what they are, but things were just getting way too convenient, I felt.
Very convenient.
And so the entire universe and what 4 out of the several Infinity Stones happen to be on Earth roughly at the same time.
It needs something. I agree. I tend to think there's a lot of convenient storytelling. There's a lot of I need a MacGuffin. Let's create a MacGuffin, and here it is.
Yeah.
What I've tried to do is say, okay, obviously I'm telling stories, so obviously convenient things need to happen, because otherwise there's no story to tell. But I wanted to have some believability, and I wanted to have some reasoning behind it. And that's why I published this one. This is the Rock of Eternity, the Challenger Papers. This is my last one. I just published this in March. I don't say last, my latest. This is my latest one. And
It's the one I'm going to read. It's the one I'm going to read.
Yes. If you want to get a sort of a handle on how everything works, that's the book. Because as I was going along, I'd written 6 books, and in those 6 books, there were little bits here and there to explain how. And I have a plan. I have an overall huge plan with a single plot line that runs through the whole universe, and it's all very, at least I think, very well thought out. But there's no way in a 100-page novel that I can explain that to you without it being a lore dump. And here you go, and it's like a textbook.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So what I did here was I gave you. There are 3 basic pillars to the universe. There are 3 reasons why there are so many superheroes on Earth, and there is a whole mechanism that puts them there, and why nobody here knows anything about what's going on out there. I tried to give you reasons for all of that that are at least plausible, because like you said with the Avengers film, all of a sudden there's 6 Infinity Stones and 4 of them are here. It's an infinite universe. How does that? And those things bother me. They get up my nose and really bug me. The other one that really bugs me, just as a total aside here, why is Thanos' snap so important? The snap, they actually, the whole thing hinges on stopping him from snapping. So the act of making a little noise with 2 fingers on a humanoid hand somehow is the important thing in the universe, and stopping it actually is able to. Well, what if a non-human entity got a hold of the 6 stones in the gauntlet and did a different, like, those things bother me. They get right up my nose about. I want it to make sense, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you a universe that makes sense, but also isn't just the same heroes that you remember exactly the same way recycled. I don't want to do that either.
No.
I want it to be fun. But I also want it to feel like it's real, like it's the universe around us. In obviously not, we don't have people flying around under their own power, but I want it to feel like the world we live in. So, because if you look at my stock of heroes that I have on my website, if you look at the history of public domain heroes and superheroes and all of the listings, I have 220, 212, whatever it is, characters listed there, and like 170 of them are white guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many? Okay, I can shave one guy's head. I can give one guy blonde. I can make one guy brunette. But eventually, I'm going to run out of ways to describe a 200-pound, square-jawed white man as a superhero. So I don't. I've let them be a more realistic variety of people, and I'm slowly but surely letting the universe of superheroes just become more like our world.
Yeah.
With more entry points for people who are underserved. And it's not like I'm doing it because there's an agenda. I'm doing it because I can only write what I can see and what I know. And what I know is a world that's full of a bunch of different people, not just one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if the characteristics you're picking, it lends itself to the character as well, then fair play. I mean, exactly.
I try to match, anytime I bend a character, I try to match them either with a good reason or a fun reason.
Cool. Yeah.
That's, like my very favorite early story was this one. This is the first thing I wrote. And this lady here in the purple dress is the Spider rethought. And the Spider in the 1930s, the original character, I call him Dexter of the Depression, because he basically went around dropping bodies like right and left for 118 novels. He killed bad guys like in every single book. And he was basically Bruce Wayne with a grudge. Like he was Batman, but he killed people without thinking about it. She's very different. I turned her into something more like what I would imagine a woman with those resources and the skills would be like in the 1940s.
Cool.
I like to think it's fun. I like to think it's, she's a fun character. She's sassy. She's sexy. Her friend Captain Midnight, who she meets in the story, is totally different. Captain Midnight, again, another man character from the 40s, who I basically retooled. And I said, okay, this is a woman who masqueraded as a man through World War II so she could fly bombers. and she's a large bodybuilder type woman who easily passed for a man because in the 1940s there weren't very many of those. And when World War II was over, she became a masked adventurer, and that's where she went. Those sorts of twists to me are interesting, and they're fun to follow and to see where.
Yeah.
See, and I'm gonna add. I think I should add some Mutant Bees to my world, though. I really do.
By all means, take them. I mean, you've got to. I mean, I just love the fact that bees are so important to our environment, and here they are saving the world yet again.
I couldn't agree more. I love bees. I used to be a telecom guy. I used to climb poles for a living, and every once in a while we'd find a bee's nest in a enclosure. And bees we always love. Wasps I'm not a big fan of, but bees I love. Bees are awesome.
Brilliant. No, but James, thank you. What I mean, for having me on.
We've already gone way past our allotted 15
I knew minutes. we would.
As always, we just get talking and we're having a good time. But I have not read as much of Luke as I would like, and we're going to do this again when we've had a chance to read each other's stuff. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to do this again. And honestly, Substack, don't just I want you to come and do this with me. 100% I do, but Luke is there too. Go do a chat with Luke. He's a nice guy, and you can have some fun talking about his stuff. And it doesn't have to be books, guys. If you're an artist, if you're a sculptor, if you're doing Substack because you're doing something interesting, we want to know about it, and we'd like to talk about it. So come join us.
Brilliant.
Luke, it's been a blast. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
No worries. Take care.
You too. See you later.
Oh, come on.